Okay, so we will now be taking a look at question 19, which is telling us to work out the value of 5 quarters all the way, 5 quarters to the power of -2, not all the way. Okay, so this is an indices question, so that means you need to be very good at remembering your laws of indices, which means, so I'm going to rewrite the question again. Of course, you don't have to do that, but it just helps to write it out yourself. And now that we know we've got a negative index, okay, a negative power, we need to remember what happens when we've got a negative power. So negative sign, okay, whenever you've got a negative power, it means that we need to find the reciprocal, okay, of whatever integer or fraction that we have got already, okay, the base. So negative power means to find the reciprocal, so we're going to do that first before we deal with the 2, which means to square. Okay, so if I work out the reciprocal of 5 quarters, then that means what I'm doing is I'm just going to be flipping that, okay, so it becomes from 5 quarters, it becomes 4/5, okay, and we are still squaring that because that has not gone. We've not dealt with this. We've only dealt with the negative sign so far. So now that I square this, that means I actually need to be squaring my numerator in this fractional indices question. I also need to be squaring the denominator as well. So 4 squared as well as 5 squared, it gives me the top. I've got 16 because 4 times 4 is 16, and as my denominator I've now got 25, which is 5 times by 5. Okay, so that is my answer for this question 19a. Not too bad, this question, I'd say. You just have to remember what happens when you have got a negative power. I know pretty much lots of us don't tend to struggle with squares or cubes and being able to work that out. Okay, but we need to be comfortable with negative. It just means to find the reciprocal, which means to flip my answer. Okay, and what reciprocal means is when you multiply the 2 values together, then the answer should be 1. Okay, so for example, if we've got 5 quarters times that by 4/5, okay, of course these two are going to cancel out if we do the cross multiplication. These two will also cancel out, so that means I'll just be left with 1 whole. Okay, that's the idea behind the reciprocal. So in short, what we have to do is just flip what we have. Now moving over to part B, 9/100, find the power is 3/2. So let's write it like I prefer to the power of 3 squared. Now that means what we've got to be doing is we can do it in any way, in any order actually. So when you've got a fractional power, the numerator means we are going to be raising it to the power of. So this fraction is being raised to the power of 3, so we're going to be cubing it essentially. See, how's this doing? And the denominator is always the root that we're trying to work out. Okay, so in this case, it is the square root that we are working out. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. Again, like I mentioned, I could start by doing square root first and then cubing my answer, or I could cube my my fraction first and then square root it. I always like to do it the other way around, so square root it so my numbers are small, and then it's easier to cube that way. Okay, so let's do 9 over square root of 100, and let's do the cube root of all of this. Now remember, with fractions we are going to do the same with my numerator as well as my denominator whenever you've got a power or a root. So the cube root of 9 is 3, and the cube root of 100 is going to be 10. Okay, so we've got 3/10, and now we've got to be remembering to oh, did I do that wrong?
What?
Okay, so this sort of tells us that it's okay, we all make mistakes. So the important thing is that we remember to correct them at the right time. So we've actually got the square root that we're working out, okay, not the cube root. So the square root of 9 is going to be 3, but let me just rewrite it. So that means I'm going to do the square root of the numerator and the square root of the denominator. No wonder when I got the answer I was thinking that it's wrong. So the square root of 9 is 3, square root of 100 is 10. So my answer is 3/10, which I now need to be cubing. So my whole answer, going to cube that. That means cube the numerator and cube the denominator, which gives us 3 cubed is 27 and 10 cubed is 1,000. Just 10 times by itself 3 times. Okay, so that is that question done.